My name is Adrionna. I work with Black farmers and I work in the cooperative food space. First memory of food being important to me was when I went to the it was the Hollywood Farmers Market in LA. This is my first time going to a farmer's market.
You go get me, it's fine.
Yeah, first time going to a farmer's market, and I was very resentful and bitter. Because I was like, damn, what is this? You know, they got like going on down here, like I've never seen this. In South LA, South Central is what we called it at the time, in the Compton area near the Port of LA. There was just no farmers markets. You know, we shopped at Food for Less, Lucky's, and it was just kind of like boring and standard.
So what age was that? Did you want to?
I was probably about 11.
When you saw your first farmer's market?
Yeah, and I was like, damn, people out here playing music, kids out here running around, the farmers, they're offering food. You want to taste this tangerine. This is really sweet, very colorful, out in the streets. And I'm just kind of like, wow, we don't have this in our neighborhood. I've never seen this. Like, what is going on? I was a preteen, just kind of feeling rebellious, wanting to talk mess about the situation and problematize it.
Yeah.
And I just saw that as an issue. And it was my first time really being like, what's going on here? Like, you know, there's some different. Yeah, I think that moment at the Santa Monica Farmers Market, when I realized that the white folks on this side of town, you know, and the kids have the luxury of being offered food by the farmers while they ran around in the street, you know, blocked up to the cars. The black musicians out there playing jazz. Everybody sat around eating their food, you know, just going out, and it just felt like a cornucopia. And I was like, and we got food for less, and the lightweight stinks, and food for less, you know, and I'm eating food out of boxes. You know, and I thought that the hamburger helper was cool. But 3 days a week is like, and I think just seeing all of the fresh produce, you know, and knowing that I had to go home. And there weren't farmers markets in our neighborhood. And learning that, you know, this thing happened every week. It happened every Saturday.
Yeah.
But you had to go over the hill to experience it. And I'm just like, wow, like something needs to be done about that. And actually, after that, I thought, you know, I would sit up in my room and I thought that I came up with this grand idea. I did. I came up with the grand idea that I would take some of these liquor stores and some of these abandoned stores and I would turn it into a healthy food market. And we would have some of the fruits and vegetables that I saw at the farmer's market, and we would transform some of the liquor stores into healthy food markets. So, yeah. That was.
But how old were you when that happened?
I was 11 when I went to the farmer's market. That is the memory.
But when did you get hit? Was that the same time?
It was the same time. It was kind of like simultaneously. It's kind of like you driving back and it's like, what can we do? You know, I was very imaginative. And I knew that could happen. Why not? It was kind of like the why not attitude. It wasn't until I went to college in New York City that I really got into the food politics. And I had the opportunity through one of my courses, which was an environmental policy course. And part of it was there was a media aspect to it. So the group that I joined, we wanted to explore the food apartheid situation in Harlem. So I went to school in Upper Manhattan. So we connected with some community gardens in Harlem. One of them was at a senior center. And throughout the semester, we worked with the folks at the senior center, you know, gardening, learning about food, learning about some of the issues around food access, learning about the policies that maintain, sustain some of the problematic issues in New York City around food access, in Harlem in particular. And I got into it. And I decided at that point that I wanted to study anthropology and focus on food. So I really got into like supply stream issues, sourcing, and everything that I could imagine at the time around food justice. So I really just got deep into it. And we did some project-based work in that environmental policy class. I got my hands in the soil for the first time, really. I put my hands in the soil and felt the spiritual connection. Like I said, we were at a senior center doing this work, so I was with the elders, and it was just a total communion, and I felt like a new spiritual depth and quality to what I was learning, and the connection became really deep, and started exploring ancestral traditions, started asking my family questions about their experiences with farming and growing food and whatnot. So it just kept spiraling in a deep way. I feel that I am on a continuum, and I feel extremely empowered, from where I came, as a frustrated preteen, like having this realization and being able to connect the dots, like granted in a very privileged way through education, through higher education in New York City and higher education in New York City at an Ivy League school. Like there was a lot of having Harlem in my backyard. So not only, being at this, this great institution, but being in Harlem, New York, and being able to still have my feet down in the soil and have my feet down in the hood and be in communion with Black folks and problematizing these issues. I think there was definitely a continuum. You know what I mean? To go from one hood to another and have the tools to really go deep analytically, have people reading my work, having people problematize my problematization of the problems. So I just feel like definitely empowered by being able to go deep intellectually, being able to go deep experientially at the same time, and then really dealing with the issues around my body.
So in leaning into that, talk about the power of food. And when I say the power of food, what comes to mind?
I think legacy comes to mind at this point. And when I say the legacy, I mean, I think about food grown by Black farmers at this point. At first it was more about, organic, clean, safe, like things that I wasn't really clear on what these terms meant. It was just kind of like following the trends on what is healthy, like what is politically correct and on board regarding food. But now it's kind of like, who's growing the food? How are the farmers being treated? What type of agency and power do the farmers have? Because I know after meeting Black farmers and knowing Black farmers over the course of the last 10 years, they put so much love into food. So for me, that's where I'm at in terms of the power of food. I don't even know what to say about health.
So what?
I think health itself just needs to be problematized. We need to have more conversations about health.
What's the main misconception that you see as a problem with health? Of how the Black community specifically, and of course it being the Black community being a representation of the whole community.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's a big conception that we take that we believe about health right now that needs to be changed?
Health, I feel, needs to be centered more around longevity. Like lifespan, rather than fitness.
Ooh.
And I know myself as I get older. I'm 40 years old right now. And we're moving into springtime, right?
Right.
I just came out of hibernation. I'm back in the gym. I'm saying things to myself like, I don't want to let myself go. Comparing myself to other people. Comparing myself to other former athletes, just thinking like, a lot of us tend to let ourselves go at a certain age. I'm like, what does that mean to let myself go? And I look at my parents and elders, the farmers. I'm like, these are some healthy folks. Like, my dad is about to be 70.
Looking good.
Looking good. And not doing too much. Like, he plays golf now. I'm sure he jogs sometimes. Even my mom, just trying to do better in terms of health. Like, knowing that what you put in, expresses itself in your body. Yeah. But just thinking about it in terms of longevity and not thinking it so much in terms of fitness and body weight and whatnot. And I think that's more of a mental and emotional health issue and challenge than physical. I just wanted to say that. Thinking about being comfortable in my body in different ways.
Yeah, and using food as a tool to do that.
Absolutely. And I think about watermelon in particular. Watermelon is my favorite food, James. Like, of all foods.
Right.
Like, I look forward to summer, not only because my birthday's in the summer, but because watermelon season's coming. And it is one of those, it's a memory that I hold strongly with my father, because we'll go to a market, pick up a watermelon, a big one, and we'll split it between the two of us and eat the whole thing in a day. And we talk about how fun it is every time. It's like, we gonna get the whole melon, we gonna eat the whole melon. And we just kiki. We are kiki about that melon the whole time, and we do it.
Yeah.
Talk about how hydrated we are, how good it feels. Oh, how much energy I have. It's just such a beautiful time for communion. I think we need to let go of, convenience.
Okay.
I think it has to do with our concepts around time and technology that allows us to receive things in an instant way. Instant gratification needs to slow down. I don't want to say stop it, but it needs to slow down. Like, when you're hungry, you need to eat. But being able to get whatever you want, whenever you want, and get a watermelon in the wintertime, that needs to stop. And to be able to go on Grubhub and order whatever you want at whatever time of night, that needs to stop. It's going to continue, and it's probably going to get better. The services are probably going to improve, but I think us as people, to rehumanize ourselves in a way that's rooted with the ebbs and flows of Earth, and the reverence to Earth and our inheritance, if we want to access that, we have to step away from this luxury of convenience. I'm just getting into growing my own food this year. I've dabbled in the past, but this year I've committed to growing food. I recently transplanted some herb seedlings. So the herbs that I eat most of the time, that I cook with, so chives, garlic, cilantro, parsley, mixed in. I mixed in some flowers in that bed, in that raised bed. But I'm growing my own food this year. And what I'm learning through that process of planting and tending to the growth of food is a deep reverence for earth. And with that, I have slowed down everything. I am more thorough with most things. The way that I prioritize the events that happen in my life has changed. I'm more committed to the quality of the soil. I'm really tending to the soil. You know, I'm reading the soil, and I'm reading what my plants are doing by observation and determining what it needs. And that care and that reverence, it's like, what do you need? I find myself applying that to my relationships, human and beyond human relationships. Like, I noticed that my relationship with my family is different. Like, I really take my time and I slow down.
And this is what you're receiving, like what farming is teaching you?
Yeah, what tending to land is teaching me this, like slowing down. You know, it's been sunny for the past week and a half, and I've just been enjoying the light and being in it. And that's offering more than I receive online. And that's just a reality, you know, and I have the luxury that I can take that time outside and I don't think I shouldn't say luxury, but I'm choosing to spend that time in reverence and like just feeling that reciprocity. Like, I'm giving to it and I'm watching it grow.
Sure. Okay, cool.